Hey there, this is Clay, and in this video we're going to be answering the question, what should you be doing if your ex contacts you during no contact? So, got a message from a woman named Jessica, and she's been having, she wants to know what to do because she's been doing active no contact like we talked about. And after, I think it was like 2 weeks or something, her ex reached out to her and she wasn't sure what to do. Should she keep going with no contact, or should she respond and sort of get the ball rolling and go on to the next phase? And I wish there was like a really clear-cut answer I could tell you, but it really depends on a couple different things. First of all, it depends on whether or not you are in an emotional state where you're ready to get back in contact with your ex. A lot of people aren't really emotionally prepared to deal with that. They'll cut contact, then their ex will reach out to them, and then they'll get back in contact with them, and they'll just end up reverting back to the same things. They'll get super anxious. They'll beg and plead. They'll walk on eggshells. They'll totally freak out when such and such a thing happens, and that's really not going to serve you. It's pointless to try and do active no contact if you're just going to just revert right back to the same actions and patterns and behaviors that you had before you started it. So you want to make sure that you're emotionally prepared to get back in contact. Second of all, you want to make sure that you're getting back in contact on your own terms. Now, during one of my breakups with my ex in the past, I actually did use no contact, and I think it was after like 3 weeks or something like that, she sent me an email, and she wanted to talk to me, and I didn't just drop everything I was doing right there and got back in touch with her. I said, hey, I'm on my way to a class because I was in college at the time, and I'll call you. I can't remember what it was. It was like the next day or at night or something like that when I get out of class. And I was really basically asserting my own boundaries and contacting her on my own terms, because it's really important that you really live your own life and that you don't make your ex the center of your life, because they'll be able to pick up on that. They'll be able to sense that you're putting 100% of your attention on them, and it's going to make them second guess things and want to pull back a little bit. It's kind of like the same feeling you get if you've ever been on like a first date and the other person is just like super into it. They're already like planning on getting married and picking the kids' names and everything, and imagining like the house that you're going to get in the suburbs with the white picket fence and everything like that. It's kind of creepy and it's very off-putting, so you don't want to do that. What you want to do is really kind of keep living your own life, doing active no contact, like we said before, living your life through the methods that we teach you through active no contact, and you want to basically get back in touch with your ex on your own terms. So I hope that answers your question, Jessica, and I hope that answers anyone else's question out there who may be thinking the same thing. And if you'd like to learn more about active no contact and more about how you can go ahead and save your relationship after a breakup and get back together with the person you love, go to relationshipinnergame.com and sign up there. Thanks.